All right, good morning, everybody. This is the latest installment in my English 101 video series, coming to you today from my back deck. Uh, Today I want to talk about, or the specific topic is autoethnography research. In order to talk about this, I want to deal with three specific areas. I want to give an overview of the autoethnography project, talk a little bit about picking a topic, and then we'll get into the research. So three things. First of all, there's the autoethnography. You've read about this in kind of general. You've read hopefully the research project overview and paper number 4 assignment information. But I think it's worthwhile to talk for just a minute or two more about what this paper is about, which can help you to wrap your head around what you're supposed to do, but also I think help you to pick a topic. So the goal of the autoethnography is to help readers understand your experience as a member of the in-group. If you look at the paper number 4 assignment information, you'll see that I give you some questions or some ideas about specific aspects of your in-group membership that you could explore in this paper. How you became a member, what membership means to you and perhaps to other members of the group, the relationship with the out group. What if you're part of an in group that other out groups don't like or are suspicious of, or maybe your in group is a reference group for some of those out groups. That could be a really interesting thing to consider. You could obviously talk about your own in-group experience and things that you've done that help to show kind of what it's like for you to be a member of that in-group. And then you could also focus on what membership requires, which takes it from another angle. One thing to keep in mind is that your autoethnography will have a purpose and point. The idea here is to help someone understand something specific about your in-group membership. Like, you don't have to, and it's not a traditional argument. You're not trying to say this in-group is good or this in-group is bad or this in-group is misunderstood. You don't have to attack, you don't have to defend, you're not trying to persuade anybody. It's really to help somebody understand what your in-group experience was like. And particularly if you look at those formal autoethnographies, right? There's one about like how the woman became a feminist. There's one about like the guy's kind of painful relationship with his father and some of his regrets around that relationship and so on, right? We're not talking about like feminism is good or bad or abusive fathers are good or bad, right? That's not what this paper's about. It's like what it's like to be in that kind of situation. And so it's a different kind of paper, but really you get to write about your experiences. There's not a right or wrong answer. What's right is what you're going to tell us about it and convince us. So that gets me to question number 2, or topic number 2, which is picking a topic. I hope that for this project you'll pick a topic that is a group that you're interested in, something that you've been doing that's central to your life, that's central really to your identity and your experience. It doesn't have to be like a bad or problematic thing. It could be something that's really fun to be part of. Again, I don't know, to an extent the sky's the limit, but pick something that you're interested in. Pick something that you have like deep firsthand knowledge about. That's going to allow you to, I think, be interested in the project on the one hand, but also to write a convincing paper on the other, because you've got to be able to include your personal experiences and even your kind of emotional experience. And if it's just a group that you are kind of not passionate about, or it's just kind of tangential to your life, you're not going to have those kinds of things. Also, when you're picking a topic, obviously you have to do a little bit of initial research, and I talked about this in the last video. You just want to make sure that your topic is viable. are there some sources out there that I can use that are going to help me, that are relevant to my topic and relevant to my experience, and that are going to help me to understand and then ultimately articulate something about my in-group experience. You don't need many sources, really, a total of 4, I guess, for the autoethnography, and you'll write about 3 of those in paper number 3, which is the annotated bibliography. You're welcome to go beyond that, of course, but 4, it's not a big load, especially for a paper that's longer like ours is, 7 to 9 pages. So do a little bit of research in Summon. You can also do internet research, and I'll say more about that in a minute. Okay, step 3, or topic number 3 for us today is the research itself. As with other research projects that you're having or that you're working on now, NCSU Library's website and that wonderful database Summon is going to be your go-to. You can access all kinds of sources through Summon. I'm not going to talk too much about that because you know a lot about it already. I want to talk about something else that's available to you through the NCSU Library's website. And this is the discipline-specific databases. If you go to the main NCSU Libraries page, lib.ncsu.edu, and look at the search bar in the middle of the page, just beneath that, you'll see a couple of links, one of which is databases. If you click on that, go ahead, do it. Click on databases. You'll first see I think it says like list of, an alphabetical list of databases. Scroll past that to the thing that's beneath it, which is databases by subject. This is a really, really awesome thing. You will see on the left-hand side, there's a gray bar that has a list of the big subject areas that are important to NC State, right? There's, there's engineering, there's social science, there's humanities, so forth and so on. I think there's 12 or 13 different areas. For each one of those, you see the specific disciplines that are linked to that subject area. The one that's probably selected for you right now is agriculture. And so just to the right, you'll see a list of disciplines related to agriculture. If you would please scroll down that gray bar and click on social science. When you click on that, you'll see a list of databases, or excuse me, a list of topic areas or subject areas related to social science. Everything from, I think it starts with anthropology and goes all the way down through sociology, social work, or something like that. Anyway, the specific discipline areas that'll be most potentially useful for you for this project are sociology and psychology, and potentially economics, potentially anthropology. And so if you were to click on one of those specific areas, say psychology, you would get a list of databases that are relevant to the field of psychology. The ones listed at the top, I think, are called like Psych Articles, and there's another one that escapes me at the moment. But those are like databases specifically related to psychology, and you would, like, searching in there, you'll find nothing but psychology articles, right? Down below that, you'll see a list of related databases or related areas. These are databases where either they focus on some subset of psychology, or they have a broader focus that happens to include psychology. You're welcome to check those out, but really it's the ones kind of at the top, right? So psychology and sociology are probably going to be your best routes to finding good sources. Econ, anthropology, like I said, could work too. And to a degree, it's going to just it depends on the kind of topic that you're trying to work with for this assignment. So spend some time on Summon and spend some time in those databases. A lot of the things that you would find in Summon, you could also find through the databases, but the databases do have a unique collection, and you might not be able to find some articles in Summon. Those databases all work a little bit differently, so you have to kind of play around with it and experiment a little bit. But you should be able to figure out how to do searches, how to select for peer review only, and that kind of thing. Lastly, in terms of the research, I want to say a little bit about sources that you'll find on the web. You do need, or at least you can use, some non-scholarly sources for this assignment. You guys know very well about how to look on the internet or how to search things on the internet, but more importantly, about how to establish the credibility of those sources. But I do want to give you a different thing to think about there. For this assignment, when you're dealing with like in-group experience, there may be things like blog posts, for example, that you wouldn't necessarily think as being like a credible source, but if you have one person writing about his or her own experiences, that can be credible, right? That person is telling you what he or she has experienced, what he or she has seen. They were there when it's happened. They're writing about their own experiences. That makes them an expert witness, in a way. So, you can find nice articles on, like on news websites. Obviously, there's a lot of nice .org websites out there that can give you lots of good information. But don't forget about like personal narratives and blog posts and those kinds of things, because they can be really interesting sources too. I'm at the 11+ minute mark, so I better knock off here. But hopefully that will help you with your autoethnography and research project research.